Hey you guys, Wednesday wine night is back. I've got a nice glass of red and tonight I wanted to chat to you about your periods and about your cycle. I in a little bit of a different way because I've spoken about the science before. I've spoken all about the different phases and the different hormones that are released and how everything fluctuates and the hormones are sort of in a bit of a dance with each other throughout the month. So, I'm going to briefly touch on that, but really what I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk about this last week as well, was basically what that means for your energy levels, what that means for how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, and physically, and what that means socially for you, because that's actually a really big deal for people, especially at this time of year when socially there's just so much pressure on us to be in a million different places, to be a million different things for different people. And, often socially we can put on a little bit of a mask, and sometimes that serves us and sometimes we'd rather be sitting on the couch and watching Netflix, right? Okay, so day one of your cycle is when you start your period. It's when you start to bleed. So, obviously a normal period will last between 3 and 5 days. You shouldn't be having pain. You shouldn't really be having sort of any big clots. Possibly a bit of a heavy feeling, but it shouldn't be debilitating in any way, shape or form. This is really a time of introspection. This is a time of kind of slowing down. And that was the whole premise behind the red tents and things like that, because women used to go away and rest and just be at that time. Now, obviously, we don't need to do that, but in our own ways, we can listen to our bodies and slow down. It's not generally the time where you feel like sort of racking up and partying and doing all of the things. It's a bit more restful. And then you sort of finish. And then you start what we call the follicular stage. And that's the phase of your cycle where you're actually preparing to ovulate, to release the egg, which, if it comes in contact with sperm, then you become pregnant. So in this phase, you're generally, basically what's happening is that, this is when you're going to be feeling your most extrovert. You're going to have your most energy. You're going to be feeling quite social, and you're sort of feeling quite strong and things like that. And then ovulation is around day 14 in a normal 28-day cycle. And, the ovulation is the time when the egg is released. Now, at that time, it's really interesting because we release pheromones. We release all of these different chemical messengers and stuff like that throughout history has helped us be more attractive to the male species and all of that sort of stuff. And there's actually some really quite interesting research about that. So ovulation, you will be feeling social as well. Your skin will be great because of all the different hormones that are fluctuating around, the luteinizing hormone and FSH and stuff like that. But you'll be feeling energized. You'll be feeling attractive. You'll be feeling like dressing up. You might exude sort of sexuality, and you'll probably find that's when you will have your libido will be at its highest, because nature has a funny way of keeping the humans on the planet. It's not an accident. Okay, so then you've ovulated. Now, obviously, if you're pregnant in that time, then you're sort of spun off on a very, very different biological pathway. But if you're not, then we move into the next phase, which we call the luteal phase. And this is basically when, your energy starts to slow down somewhat. So the luteal phase is from ovulation to when you bleed again. And basically what's happening is your estrogen and your progesterone will will sort of be quite high at about around day 21, and then it will stop dropping off. And this, once again, and this drop off is generally when you'll find that you're feeling moody, you're feeling tired, you're feeling, you start getting like the cramping and or the back pain and the heavier feelings on a physical level. Now, it's really important to listen to your body. So, listen to your body in terms of what you're doing, what sort of work you're taking on. Listen to your body in terms of like how extrovert you're going to be at that time. Because I know in that phase, I don't want to be doing everything for everyone. That's the phase where I might do my research, or I might do my writing, or I might do things that are a little bit quieter. Whereas, in the follicular phase and ovulation, I'm just like, okay, let's get out there and do all of the things. So by knowing these different phases and understanding where you're at with them, you can actually implement things naturally, without having to supplement things, without having to, intervene, so to speak. I mean, obviously, intervention is really important if you're experiencing pain and extreme moodiness and also all of those bloating and all sorts of those things. But there is a point where we honor our cycle. So honoring your cycle means going, okay, I'm in this phase, so I'm going to naturally slow things down. I'm not going to stop. But when I have the choice, I'm going to slow things down a little bit. And then because I know in another week or two that naturally, because of these hormones, I'm going to be ready to ramp things up again. It's not forever. And being in tune with these cycles, being in tune with these phases, actually makes everything run so much more smoothly. So I would love to hear what you think about that. I would love to hear your ideas and your thoughts around your cycle, whether it's something that you sort of just stick your head in the sand and you just don't want to think about and you just push through. Is it something that you feel like you're quite in tune with? Is it something that you need some help with? Because it tends to be the number one thing that I help women with. So I ask you to have a little think about where you are in your phase, in your cycle right now, which phase you're in, and are you supporting that phase and that energy level that is going to be particular for that phase. Okay, have a great night, have a glass of wine, put your feet up and enjoy. Good night.